This is the electric paint sprayer by Mirazone. This paint sprayer is fully electric and is 1,000 watts. The product claims to be easy to clean, comes with 4 nozzles and 3 spray modes: vertical, horizontal, and circular. Let's take a look and see what we get inside the box. Well, there's the main unit of the sprayer, which I'm going to set aside. It comes with 4 nozzles, one which is already pre-installed. There's a large capacity paint container for fewer refills so we can keep going during those big jobs. Next, there's a viscosity cup to test your paint for thinning needs. It comes with 3 paper filters for mess repouring and a filter to keep the debris out of the spray line that is washable. For cleaning, it comes with a brush and a needle, perfect for getting out that hard, dry paint after we use it a couple times. It does come with a pair of gloves, keep your hands clean, and of course, a user manual walkthrough and setup, which we'll take a deeper dive into later. Everything's well packed and ready for use. Next, let's get on to what it looks like to assemble this unit. All right, let's take a deeper look and set up the electric paint sprayer. And as I'm going through setting it up for us to paint, I'll take a deeper dive in some of the different features that it has. First thing we're gonna do is take a look at the nozzles and which one we're gonna wanna pick for the paint. There's 4 different ones and they're all basically the same, except for the hole is just slightly larger on one versus the other. So it's really fine all the way up to a bigger hole. So if you're using a really thick oil paint or you're using a really thin stain, that's gonna determine what tip you're going to use. So you're going to just give it some trial and error and figure out what tip works best for you for what paint or stain you're using at the moment. So for this job and the paint we're going to be using a little bit later, it's just some standard satin paint. So we're going to take off this knob right now, and so what you do is you twist this off right here, and this comes off completely, and there is the nozzle. And I'm going to use the medium nozzle, and you just slide it on right there. And then you twist it back on, and that is how you install the nozzle. All right, next we're ready to fill up our container. So we're gonna take the container off the gun here, and it comes with a viscosity cup, which you can latch on the side here and pour. And depending on what style paint you have, whether it's oil-based or water-based or all the different things, you pour it in here and you're gonna time how long it takes to pour through. I'll spare you the details, but it comes in the instructions of how much to add. But basically you're gonna dilute your paint with water depending on how slow it goes through. So let's get the paint inside of the container. All right, it's time to load this bad boy up. So we're gonna take the container off here and we're going to grab our viscosity cup. We're gonna place it in there. I have some water-based paint here, so I'm gonna pour a little bit in to the cup and we'll come right back. All right, it took about 1 minute and 45 seconds, so it's really, really dry. It's a little bit older paint. So I'm gonna pour the rest of it in here. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of water and I'll stir it off camera and we'll load it up. All right, so I have the gun set up. I'm using the second to smallest tip, so very small, up 1. I have the dial here all the way to the open because the paint is still a little thick. I've done a few test runs here to make sure that it's coming out smooth, so we're ready to go, and we're gonna go ahead and do a couple passes. I mean, this is the first time I've used it. This is amazing at actually how smooth and not a lot of splatter and spray that's coming out of this thing. So I think this is, first try is actually really great. I'm really happy with that. Wow. So when using a paint sprayer, typically you want to do light coats. That way you don't like lay it on thick and to avoid drippage or overspray or anything like that. So you want to do one nice light, even coat. Keeping it light and even strokes as you go back and forth. Let it dry. You can even sand in between coats lightly with some really fine grit sandpaper, and then keep giving it 2 or 3 coats, especially if you're painting things like furniture or things like that. If you're painting something like walls, then you can open it up a little bit more and lay it on a little bit more thicker, but then you want to really avoid that drippage. So this is the first coat. I'd let this dry for like a half an hour or an hour. If I'm going to sand it, I'd probably let it go longer and then give it another even coat. I'm going to try out each one of the tips so you can see the difference in size here, and then we'll take a look at my final thoughts on this step. Okay, so I used every tip here. This is the finest one, which I did 2 to 3 passes, and you can see maybe this one isn't great for this paint. And so I just wanted to call that out. It's probably for some thinner stuff like stains. Then the next biggest one is this one, which we used the most of earlier. And I'd say this one was pretty good for this paint. This was the next largest one. And then finally the widest one. So this would be for like really, really thick, like latex type paints. And remember, the unit does spray vertical, horizontal, and it has, if you do the unit diagonal, it'll spray round. So I did a sample here. This is really great if you're getting into nooks and crannies or corners of furniture or different things like that. So that's a really cool feature that this has. But I think it did a really great job. Overall, the spray pattern was pretty even for 2 to 3 passes. And if I did multiple coats, like I would here, example, if I was coating something really large, I think this would be really great. I'm shocked at how great this unit is. So what are my final thoughts on this paint sprayer from MirrorZone? I found it extremely surprising of how well actually this unit was for the price and affordability. I've had units that are north of $150 for professional painting and to do furniture, and this was just as good, which was really shocking. So it was really great. Some things that I didn't record off on camera for you guys to see was the cleaning out. I've had numerous different paint sprayers in the past, and there's nothing fun about cleaning out a paint sprayer. But besides that, there's nothing different, whether to the good or the bad, about this unit. It's cleaning out a paint sprayer. So if you just rinse it out with the paint and the parts, it's just normal. There's nothing really good or bad about it. It's just what it is. Another thing I didn't record on camera was the actually ability to use it without paint. So one of the biggest things without getting a good clean finish on whatever you're painting is dust. So if you're painting a piece of furniture and you need to wipe it down, if you use it without paint in it, you can actually shoot air and blow the dust off of your piece before you paint it, which I didn't show, but that's really cool. I tried it. It works great. And then you can load it up with paint and then paint it and have a nice clean surface, which is really great. A lot of paint sprayers can't do that. So that's a huge plus. So I think this paint sprayer is for anyone that's trying to get into paint spray without having a massive budget to be able to pay for some of those big expensive ones. Honestly, I'm shocked at how good this unit is. I'm really like, I'm not just saying it, like this is really, really good. So I'm happy about it. I'm really glad I bought it. And I think it comes in lots of different color options, was really nice. This is just like a really good, solid paint sprayer for the price.